it's time we talk about nets. We're here today. I was out fishing, and I was with some people, and typically when I'm fishing I'm catching bass and they're small, and most of the time I don't take a net with me, and these folks were all geared up, so they were using nets, which was really good. And I thought, you know what, I haven't done a video on nets, so here we go. And I want to talk about the different types of nets and styles and when you would use them and that sort of thing. So stick around, we'll get to the whole thing. Basically, nets are just an easier way to grab the fish out of the water. Now, I typically just stick my hands in the water first, get them wet, and I really almost don't even ever touch the fish. I just use my hemostats. If the fish is small enough, I just use my hemostats to flick the hook out of its mouth. Particularly, most of the time I use non-barbed hooks, barbless hooks, and it just comes right out of their mouth easily. Sometimes that happens 10 feet away from me, but I count it as a legit catch at that point. But let's just talk about different kinds of nets. Well, if you got Grandpa's net, you inherited or you found something at a garage sale, and it's a beautiful net like this, it's got one of these like zinger things that you hang on your back, and then when you need it, you can just pull it out and net your fish. Well, these are beautiful nets, and I wouldn't want to discourage you from using it, but you see this material. This is it's either cotton, or even on cheap nets it's like a nylon, and it's knotted. And what this does is this is very abrasive to the fish. There are also these things called, they used to be called Michigan mitts, and they're basically like a glove that has a netting on it to help you grab the fish more. Those rub a lot of the slime off the fish. Now, fish are in the water. We have waders on. Well, they sort of have waders on too, and that's a layer of slime on their body that kind of protects them from all the stuff that's in the water, the E. coli, all the other bugs and germs and stuff that are there. So you don't want to disturb that layer of slime on the fish. And these kind of cottony or nylon nets will do that. It's better than just sort of manhandling them, but it's not better than using what are the right materials. Most nets now, unless they're really cheap, come in this material, and this is a kind of I don't know if you can see, it's sort of a silicone, and it's very gentle to the fish, and it basically, it works the same way. It's not quite as nice and floppy as this one is, but they work just the same, and they come in black or white, and it's just a much better way of doing it. Okay, now why would you use a net? Well, one thing is if you do have to take the fish out of the water, you can actually leave it in the net. And I'm going to stand up for this, because pull away. And what you can do is, if you're in the water, you can actually even stick this between your legs and deal with the fish while this is in the water here. Okay, I should probably take this out to the stream and show you. The net just allows you to handle the fish a little bit more gently in a controlled environment versus it flopping around, especially if they really got hooked, like in the jaw or something, in a bad spot where you really have to operate to get them out. It's basically like having a third hand. So that's one of the main purposes of a net. Depending upon where you're fishing, this is a pretty big net. I don't think I've caught many fish recently that would deal with this net. Well, this net is probably more appropriately sized. See this one that has the bad netting on it, and it's just a matter of it's just a matter of convenience. Now, most of the time, if you're wading, these are hanging either from the back of your vest or the back of your. I have a loop on my bag that I can connect. There's a whole apparatus like this on the back of my neck that allows me to just pull it off the. Actually, I pull it off the bottom, and I'm able to use it. In the past, there's been some cool things, and this was one of these things I picked up at a. It was like a garage sale kind of a thing. It's the Handy Pack Net Company from Trevorton, Pennsylvania. Beautiful leather bag, goes on your belt. This is kind of cheesy plastic. I don't know why they did that, but the coolest part is that then when you pull this out, it springs into a springy net. It does have one of those bad nets on it, so I don't use it, but I thought it was a great idea. I was thinking of maybe buying a silicone net and putting it on here, but then also you have to learn how to, there's a technique to putting this thing back into here that I still have not quite mastered. So it's going to sit out here for a while until I figure that out. So that's what there is about nets. Again, when you're handling the fish, you don't want to just put the death grip on them. I see a lot of fishermen go like this and like this. That sort of works. I tend to try to keep my hands underneath. And again, when I'm usually getting them, I'm taking them out of the water, especially bass. You can take the hook out of the mouth. Now, one last tip, and this absolutely happened to me when I first was trout fishing. I was a bass fisherman forever, until I don't know, when I was about 40 or something. I think that's when I started learning to fly fish and fish for trout. And I was on the south branch of the Sable River, beautiful section, and I caught my first big trout. It was about this size. Even maybe it was a little bigger. And it's flopping and flopping around, and I'm trying to get the hook out of it. It's down in the water, and I'm trying to get the hook out of its mouth. And I'm a bass fisherman, so of course I stuck my thumb in its mouth, to kind of lip it so I could then take the hook out. Well, I didn't know trout have teeth. And that trout was covered with my blood by the time I ended up getting it back in the water. And I learned my lesson never to stick my hand in a trout's mouth. So that's my final tip to you. And that's all there is to know about nets. There's not a lot to know. You have to be careful. In some states, they do have a handle length limit, and you need to basically check that out on your local regulations. If you have a regulation, I know people like in New Zealand and Australia watch my videos, which is amazing to me. Thank you very much. Do you guys have rules on how long the nets can be or what the material is? Again, I'm a very local fisherman, so I don't know some of these things. So I'd love to hear any feedback you guys have. All right, we'll see you then. I'll try to do another one of these pretty soon. Okay, bye. This is a very nice bass. Oh yeah. Oh, come on, baby. Holy moly. Looks like a swamp creature. Jesus. Get out the net again.